So hello everyone, we are back again with our latest video on SQL tutorial Abikacho by Abikacho groups. So basically this is the third part of SQL server system data types, okay? And this is the last part of data types. So basically what are the topics we are going to discuss in this video? Let's move on and check. So in this part, we are going to discuss the following data types, which are other data types, CLR data types, and special data types. Okay, and what we have already discussed in part 1 and part 2 are exact numeric, approximate numeric, and date time. We have discussed in part 1, and character string, Unicode character string, and binary string we have discussed in part 2. So this part 1 and part 2 videos are very important because these data types you are going to use most frequently, and the part 3 videos are very rarely you are getting some requirements to use these data types, but these are also very important data types. So let's move on with our first data type of today's video. So first we have the other data types. So in other data type we have four data types like SQL variant, timestamp, a unique identifier, and XML. So what the SQL variant will do, so the SQL variant data type in SQL Server is a unique and flexible type that can store values of different data types within the same column, variable or table. Okay, so basically a SQL variant data type is that data type which can store multiple data types in a same column. Okay, like integer it can also hold the varchar, it can also hold the date time. So like that. So it is especially useful in scenarios where the data types are not predetermined, allowing for greater flexibility. So basically in login data and all, when you are going to track log data and all, so there you don't get any specific data type. You can even get a means integer value like the ID of that particular person and date time. You can get when they have logged in, logged out, and character also you can get means what activity they have performed. So in that scenarios, this SQL variant data type is very useful. So let's move on to SSMS and check how SQL variant data type is working. So basically we can use variables for doing this, and we can also store that in columns, but we will use in this case we will use the variable. So you can declare three variables. Declare, declare at the rate a, and this will be uh, SQL variant. Data type will be SQL underscore variant, variant, SQL variant. And similarly the second one also at the rate b, this will also be our SQL underscore variant. So we'll make them in line so it will look good. Okay, now next we will take at the rate c, this will also hold the data type of SQL underscore variant variant. Okay, now we will assign them different data types value, like integer we will assign for a, and for at the rate b we will assign varchar, and for c we will assign date, and see all the three will be coming in single column. So SQL variant will be used for that purpose only. Now set values for all of them. Set at the rate a equals to 1, then set at the rate b equals to, let's take logged in, logged in, this one is the varchar, and then set the last one to date time. Set c equals to get date, get date. Okay, get date is holding date time data type as we have already discussed in our previous video, so you can go and check that. Now select all of them. Select at the rate a as int value, int underscore value, comma. Now the second one we will take, first do it like this, provide a tab here, then at the rate b as varchar, varchar underscore value, and at the rate c as date, date time value, date time value underscore value. Okay, now execute this. As we have discussed previously also, when you are declaring the variable, then you need to execute the query by selecting whole thing. Okay, now execute. See, we are getting the values for all of them. Like SQL variant is holding values for all data types. Integer also it is holding, varchar also it is holding, and datetime also it is holding. So this is clear. Now move on to the next data type. So next we have the timestamp. So what it will do in SQL Server, the timestamp data type is a special data type used to automatically generate unique binary numbers. Okay, known as row version numbers for each row in a table. Okay, so what timestamp will do? Timestamp will generate a binary number automatically for each of the row of a table. Despite its name, the timestamp data type does not store date or time information. Okay, so basically timestamp by hearing the name timestamp, we predict that it will store date or time something, but it will not store date and time. It is automatically generating a binary number for each of the row. Okay, so that number is unique. So for the go move on to SSMS and check the example for this. So for the example of timestamp, we have created one call a table and have inserted some values also. Okay, now execute this. So as we have discussed, the timestamp data type will automatically generate value, so explicitly we can't give value to that. And also whenever means it on any insert, on any update, it will change the value. So here we have already seen, okay, that is not mentioned, but I am telling you that on any update or insert happen in that table, so this particular value will be regenerated, the timestamp value automatically. Now what here we are doing, we are creating a table, sample table with column ID, which is integer, date value, and then row version, the third column with the timestamp data type. Okay, now execute this. Now see here, in the insert statement, we are putting values only for ID and date value, not for the row version, which is timestamp data type. Now execute this, and then when we select the value here, copy, select star from sample table. Now see, when you execute this, you will get a auto generated value for row version. Okay, and whenever we do a update also in this particular table, like if we write a update query here, like update sample table set uh, data value we will update, data value equals to updated value, updated value where the id equals to 2. Okay, now when we generate, first check the record what we are getting currently. So currently this is the row version for first column, like first value, which is id1, for id1, and write also id1, and then this is the row version for id2. This is the row version for id2. Okay, now update this. When we are updating the value for id2, what it is getting done, now execute select star. So we have updated one row affected. Now execute select star. So see here what we are getting, the value for id2 has been updated also. Okay, so timestamp is auto generated and always it will generate a unique binary value. Okay, so this is also clear to everyone. Now move on to the next data type. So next we have the unique identifier data type. So what unique identifier data type will do? The unique identifier data type in SQL Server is designed to store globally unique identifier GUIDs. Okay, so it is designed to store GUIDs, like globally unique identifiers, which are 128 bit, or you can say 16 bytes value, as 8 byte equals to 1 byte equals to 8 bit. Okay, so 128 bit equals to 16 bytes. So 128 bit values often used to ensure uniqueness across table databases or even distributed system. Okay, so basically unique identifier is generating a GUID value which is always unique. So basically we use in for primary keys we use this unique identifier data type. Okay, because it will generate always a unique value, and for maintaining a uniqueness in the database level or at the table level, we can use this unique identifier data type. Now let's move on to SSMS and check the working of this also. So for this unique identifier also, we have created one table. Now check that. So basically, for unique identifier, the value will be inserted by by a function which is new ID. So new ID, what it will do? New ID will generate a 32 character grid all the time. New grids. Okay. So by using the new grid only, we can generate the value for a unique identifier data type column. Okay. Now what we have? So we have here create table sample table 2 we are creating with ID column. ID is the unique identifier and this is a primary key. So mostly we use this unique identifier data type for primary keys only because this is providing a unique value all the time. Okay, then we have the data value which is n varchar. Now execute this, create the table and then insert the value. Okay, so insert value, what we are inserting ID and data value. So for ID we are generating the value from new ID. So new ID, what it will do, I think from select also we can execute this and then I will check, show you the example. Select new ID. So execute this. So see, new ID function is generating a grid of 32 characters. So each time it will generate a separate, means new grid. Okay, so see, all the time it is generating a new grid. Okay, now insert the value and then we will check. Select star from sample table 2. Okay, select star from sample table 2. So see, we are getting a unique grid all the time. So this can be used as a primary key because it will maintain the uniqueness every time. Okay, so this is also clear. Now move on to the next data type. So next we have the XML data type. So basically these data types you are not going to use very frequently, but these are very important data types. And whenever it is needed, then there is no replacement for this. You need to use this only. Okay, so what XML data type is doing? So the XML data type in SQL Server allow you to store and manipulate XML, extensible markup language data directly in the database. So whenever you are going to load any XML file or something, so you need the XML data type. Okay, so this data type is useful when working with semi-structured data or when an application requires the storage of XML document or fragments, as I have mentioned. Okay, so whenever a application is that you are creating and the backend is written in XML document that requires a XML document to be loaded in the application, so at that time you can use the XML data types. So XML data types are a separate topic in itself. So basically, if you need that separate video on that, then let us know. We will create a dedicated video on XML data types. Till now, check the definition of that and move on for the next data type. So next what we have? So next similarly we have the CLR data types. So these are not used very frequently, but these are very important. When they are needed, then they can only do that work. Okay, so what CLR data type is used for? So in SQL Server, CLR, common language runtime data types refer to user defined data types, UDTs, and objects that are implemented using .NET framework. Okay, so by using the .NET framework, whenever we create a user defined data type, so that data type has the data type of CLR data types. Okay, so these types allow developers to extend the capabilities of SQL Server by creating custom data types and functions using a .NET programming language like C# and VB.NET. Okay, so using C# or VB.NET, you can create some user-defined data types under that CLR data type. So one of the data type we have like hierarchy ID. So hierarchy ID, what it do? So the hierarchy ID data type in SQL Server is a special data type designed to handle hierarchical data such as organizational structure, file system, or family trees. It provides efficient method to store, query, and manipulate hierarchical information within a database. Okay, so basically hierarchy ID, this particular data type maintains a means structure of like if you have a company in organization, we have CEO, then you have managers, then you have executive under that. So for maintaining that particular hierarchy, you can use hierarchy ID data type. So these data types are also a separate topic in itself. So one video dedicated to that, if you need it, then we will create for that also. And let us know in the comment if you need a dedicated video on hierarchical ID or CLR data types. Now move on to the next data type. So next what we have? Next we have the special data types. So special data types, what it will do? So in SQL Server, special data types are designed to store and work with special data such as geometrical data and geographical information. Okay, so whenever you need to work with a geometrical data or geographical data like 2D 3D vector and geographical data like longitude latitude, so in that cases we need the special data types. So these data types are ideal for applications involving maps, location based data, or spatial analysis. So maps, we have the x-axis, y-axis, and location, we have longitude latitudes. So in that cases this particular data type is mostly in use. If an application is using that data, so we need to use these data types. So we have two data types in that special data type, which are geometry and geography. So what they are doing? So geometry is used for planar flat 2D data. Okay, so geometry is used for 2D data like x and y axis, represent data in Euclidean flat coordinate system. Okay, so flat coordinate system, it will represent the data. So example for this are points, lines, polygons in a flat coordinate space. Example a city map. So whenever you see a city map, that is coordinated like x-axis coordinate and y-axis coordinate, two coordinates are there. So 2D coordinate, whenever we are using, we can use the geometry data type. And geographical data type, what it will do? So geographical data types are used for geodetical earth-based data. So globally means global globe kind of data if you need, like longitude and latitude if you want to find out, then in that cases you need the geographical data. So any data having longitude, latitude options, so geographical data is best for that particular data. So it represents data on Earth's surface using a round Earth model. Okay, so it uses a round Earth model like latitude and longitude as I have mentioned previously, and example for this are points, lines, polygons on a globe. Example GPS coordinates. So GPS coordinates will provide you the longitude and latitude of that particular area. So now move on and check the difference of geometrical database and geographical database. Geometry database and geography database. Okay. So difference between geometry and geography data types are data type. Sorry, I was mentioning database. Data type. Okay. So features, by the feature we have done the difference. So feature like type of space. So for geometry we have already discussed planar flat 2D space, and for geography we have round earth geodetic space. Okay, and then coordinate system. So it is for providing Cartesian x-axis and y-axis as we have mentioned, and then geography will provide you latitude and longitude. Okay, so distance area. So geometry we have measured in flat unit, example meter feet. Okay, and geography it is measured on Earth's surface. So by taking the Earth's surface, we measure the geography data type. Okay, use case. So local maps, CAD diagrams, for these purposes, geometry data type is used, and like GPS navigation system, geography data types are used. So basically, these geometry and geography data types are also a separate topic in itself. So if you want a elaborated video on these and used cases also if you want to see, then let us know in the comment. We will provide a detailed video on all these XML, and then what we have other than that, we have the CLR data type, hierarchy ID, then spatial data type, geometry and geography. We will create a dedicated video on these if you need. Okay, let us know in comment, and thank you for watching. There is the end of the SQL Server data type. So we have already created part 1 and part 2 where we have covered around 6 data types, and 3 data types are covered in this particular video. So like, share and subscribe friends, and let us know in comment if you have any issues related to SQL Server, and also you can contact to our for online trainings, you can contact to our organization. And thank you for watching. Many more videos are on the way, and we are also planning, as I have mentioned in the previous videos also, we are planning for a master series on SQL Server. So if once our subscriber will grow like around 500 plus subscriber. Once it get, we will launch that series also, where we will describe each of the function one by one. Thank you for watching. Thank you everyone.